All right, y'all, welcome back to another video. And in today's not so banger, I'm going to be building a personal entertainment PC for my living room and probably the smallest form factor fish tank style case that you can get on the market. And this is the Jonsbo TK-0. Now I wanted to build a PC in the front room because over the weekend, usually kids populate the gaming room and I just don't get a spot. So this will allow me to play games in the front room and even do like some extra stuff that I want to do on a PC. But there was one issue, and that was my girl. When I actually told her I wanted to build a PC for the front room, she told me no, because all she knows is big, bulky PCs. And she just told me that she didn't want a PC in the front room because she felt that would be too big and it just won't fit. I'm not making that joke, but it just won't fit the aesthetics in the front room. So I decided to lower the standard. All right. They just write themselves. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I wanted a fish tank case too, just because I like fish tank cases. I like looking at my PC parts. And yeah, with this, I think it will actually fit my front room just because it's black and it does have this nice wood accent on the side of it. Now, when you go to the aquarium and you decide which graphics cards you want to populate your fish tank case with, there's actually a lot of graphics cards that you can choose for this case. This case really isn't as limited as I thought it was going to be because it can actually fit a 2-fan graphics card in it. And in theory, I can upgrade all the way up to a RTX 5070. But the graphics card that I decided to go with was the RTX 4060. And the reason why is because I had this graphics card on hand. I bought a whole bunch of low profile graphics cards. I was going to make a video on low profile graphics cards. The only issue is not too many companies build low profile graphics cards. And when you talk about Intel and AMD, I think AMD's 6400 is probably the best low profile they got. AMD's the 38, the ARC 38, and RTX, it just dominates that field, low profile graphics cards. Yet again, another thing that NVIDIA dominates. So I had to go with Gang Green because they have the best graphics card on the market. And so I just scrapped that video with that, the 3050 and all them other ones, because there's just no reason. They just dominate in there. But yeah, I'm going to populate this case with this graphics card and all the other parts. So this is the 4060 low profile. This is what it looks like outside the case. It got 3 fans, and this is why I'm going to choose to populate this case. So yeah, this is the TK-0. It's 235 millimeters wide, 250 millimeters in depth, and 280 millimeters high. It's made out of aluminum alloy steel, and it does have 16 millimeters of wood. It can house only one 3.5 hard drive or a 2.5 SSD. It does only support ITX motherboards, has PCI expansion slots too. It does come on the front with USB 3.2 type C and then USB 3.0 and one audio jack that does support the headset and mic combined. And you have to get SFX power supply. It supports 160 millimeters. Now, I know there's some smaller power supplies, but the bulk on them is just too bulky. It's not going to fit. So it has to go for small form factor power supply. So the CPU cooler height is 135 millimeters. It supports display graphics card. This was where I was shot, 230 millimeters. That is most 2-fan graphics cards. And yeah, the top can support 120 or 140, just 1 fan. So you can actually put a AIO, just a single fan up top. I'm not going with that. I'm going with the tower. And then the bottom can support 120 or 140 millimeters, and the rear can support a 90 millimeter, which I have a 92 Noctua, which is brown. Surprisingly, I had this. I don't know when I got it or why, but maybe this fits. Who knows? And yeah, it weighs 4.3 kilograms. All right, now we're going to go over all the rest of the parts that's going to populate this fish tank case. Then we're going to get to gaming, see how all the parts come together, work out well. And also, I might show you my front room setup and see how it looks in the front room. I'm not sure, but yep, stay tuned. All right, all the parts. You already know the Jonsbo. You already know the 4060. The CPU we're going with is the Ryzen 5 7600X. I did feature this CPU in another video. I purchased this for $230. It came with a free NVMe 1TB from Corsair. That was quoted at $60. So you can actually say this cost me $70 if you add the $60 to the SSD. What's going to be housing it is probably the cheapest motherboard you could get on the market. This does come from AliExpress. It is the Genue B650. Already tested it. It works. They did add this. Now this is so you can add a Wi-Fi adapter, which I bought on Amazon for $30. This does cover Wi-Fi 6E and it does cover Bluetooth, I think all the way up to 5.4. Rounding it off, the RAM I got on Facebook Marketplace. This is DDR5 600 mega transfers per second, or 6,000 mega transfer per second, and it was only $50. Was it SFX Gold 850 watt power supply from Cooler Master. I went with this power supply. It was like $152 just for upgradability. Because like I said earlier, you can actually go up to a RTX 5070 in this build. And later on, if I feel like maybe the 6000 series that come out for the graphics card for NVIDIA was good enough, I might upgrade to that. So this gives me plenty of upgradability. It is a small form factor. And as you can see, this is very, very tiny. It's going to fit quite well. Yeah, the story of my, nope. I told myself I am not going to be making those type of jokes. All right. And lastly, I got CPU cooler from AliExpress. This does have an LCD screen on it, so you could check temperatures straight from the CPU cooler. This is called the Up Siren Walrus Assassin 90BK. This is what the box looked like. But yeah, now it's time to assemble all of the parts and see how it looks. So before we start, I do want to give you a closer look of the motherboard. It does have 2 DIMM slots for RAM. You can actually populate 64 gigabytes in here. It does have RGB headers, has a CPU, AIO, 3.2, Type C. It does have also 3.0 USB. You can put 4 SSDs in here. This is your motherboard connection. Right here is where you put your Wi-Fi. It has a little slot here. Speaking of the IO, it does have 2 USB 3.2s, no, 3 USB 3.2s and 1 Type C, and then USB 2.0s, I believe these are. I don't think these are the actual 3.0s, but yep, that's it. It does have a line in and a mic in. As I speed up the building process in this video, I wanted to share my experience with the TK-0 case, and honestly, it's one of the easiest cases I ever worked with. Right out the gate, everything came apart exactly where I needed it to, which made installing components a breeze. Even though the case is compact, the back had way more space than I expected for cable management. I'm talking enough space that I could have used cable extensions if I really wanted to. That's how roomy it was. There were plenty of standoffs and routing holes, which made it super easy to organize cables exactly how I wanted. No fighting with tight corners or weird layouts. It just worked. All in all, the TK-0 made this a really smooth building experience, and I highly recommend it for anyone putting together a clean and compact build. All right, before I start, it's on a quick preset, everything on high, DLSS quality, and 1080p. So look, the CPU stopping at 95, 96, and as you can see, it's on 95. Now this is the low screen. For some reason, the low screen on this game is killing it. Like it is marking it right now on that low screen. But as you can see, the temperature stabilized. GPU is actually remaining real cool, and that's what I actually like about it. I'm getting a couple stutters here and there on high, but the frames, what are we looking at? Average. The average frames is 90 to 100, and the CPU has calmed down 72. And as you can see on the board here, as you can see, it's pretty average, 58, and then it's 58 up there as I switch over. But during cutscenes, this thing especially takes a hit on that CPU. Now, the main reason is because I said unlimited frames. So that's the case. I have not seen this cutscene yet. I have not played this game. All right, we know in fight scenes, the FPS. Oh, I forgot how to jump. Oh no. But the CPU is now at 77. The GPU is staying steady. I think this is what you call it. All right, so I failed it, but as you can see, it maintains 60 frames inside of battle. Outside of battle, about 80 to 90 frames. The CPU fluctuates between basically cutscenes 50 to battle 80 to normal around 75. All right, so Marvel Rivals, Borderless, not much to say. NVIDIA DLSS, it is going to be on a high preset, and we're going to check this out, see how well we do. Oh, sync, VSync off. VSync off. That I got in the game is maintaining over 100 frames. The CPU is actually doing pretty good.
Just here to do my duty.
They're using a strategy here. What is going on? Oh, you're in there. Oh, they're a squad right here. Oh, they're a squad right here. All right, and there you are, Marvel Rivals. Yeah, the CPU was in the 80s. It did average 95 frames, around that 100 mark. The GPU was in the 100 watts to 115, so that was normal. Yeah, this PC's holding up, man. What can I say? All right, so for this game, I actually have it on a high preset, but it says custom because I switched it to DLSS super resolution. Everything's on high though. Just for this benchmark, the CPU is actually above 80, and or actually no, it lowered now, but it's hovering around 80. The frames is 105. It's averaging 100 frames. GPU still staying cool. All right, now we're going to try a little bit of ray tracing just to see how that goes. So ray tracing low, still no frame generation. All right, so you can see the frames are fluctuating, but it's around 73 FPS with ray tracing enabled. The CPU still hovering in at 70 Celsius, and the GPU is only utilizing 115 watts at max. So that 850 watt power supply is definitely overkill. So yeah, 74 frames per second, and that's only because of upscaling technology. Look, we're just in that type of age where upscaling is just in everything. I mean, like I said, PlayStation, Xbox utilize it, PCs can utilize it, and this is, I'm not going to be sweating in the front room on games playing. All right, so this is Call of Duty Warzone. This is on 1080p. I do have it on a balanced preset. No upscaling, because in this game I do like to get sweaty. I'm not good sweat, but I do like to lock myself in my room. All right, as I watch these guys finish this out for us. So I might get back in the game. Hold up.
Took a shot!
shoot, what can I do? They were holding up that top. Oh my goodness, they're actually part of the same squad. So it did average 110. Actually, that CPU cooler is legit. It's getting around 80 to that 90 mark. So I can't complain about that. I don't know why it was hitting 90s while it was trying to do the shaders, but I mean, it is what it is. Shoot, man, I might even play this in the front room for one reason, that it was actually getting that much FPS, and maybe I can use some upscaling to get more FPS playing 1440p. Okay, so we're moving up to 1440p. We're doing balanced preset and then NVIDIA DLSS. Let's see how the frames work in 1440p, and if it does work in 1440p. I need to start playing smart. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to start playing smart. But look, DLSS on 1440p averaging 115 frames per second. That's shoot, man, this game. Yo, I need to settle down on this game. I keep taking all these wrong angles. Where did you come from? Oh, that thing is play to win 100%, bro. All right, there's 2 play to win, bro. It's too much, man. God dang, I can't see it in the shadows, man. All right, so watch this guy finish it out. This was 1440p, and it was maintaining 115 frames. And you know what they say, big things come out of small packages. Not going to, yo, it's just like low hanging fruit. Like, I don't even know if that's an endo window. But just to be honest with you, just to be honest with you, it's just a low hanging fruit. It's just easy, bro. Like, talking about the size of something just as a man just comes natural, I guess. It's just weird, bro. It's gotta be studied. Like, this is caveman. All right, so y'all saw the benchmarks. My time spot score is 10,251. I spent $1,013 on this PC. That gives me an average frame of 9.8, almost 10 cents per frame. Now I'm going to say this, that isn't good, but it's not bad, especially when it's a personal PC and you wanted to add more elements. I love to save money whenever I can. And I think in the footage I said that's the cheapest motherboard you can get. That's the cheapest ITX board that you can get anywhere, and that is on AliExpress. That's not used, that's brand new. The only issue I had was putting in the Wi-Fi. So yeah, I had to basically disassemble the heatsink just so I could get that on, just to make the process a little bit easier. But the Wi-Fi works on it, everything works on it. It plays every game that I want to play, especially at 1080p, and I can even upscale to 1440p. DLSS is a great upscaler. That's probably what makes NVIDIA leading in this industry. Other than that, I just really do like the small size. Now, here's the thing I do want to say. So I wanted to show y'all the average CPU temperature. Right. So I wanted to bring you back to this just to show you the CPU temperature. It says on average it's 77.2, but really when I exited the game, it was around that 81 Celsius. The GPU 60.1 Celsius, that actually checks out. The GPU stays cool. The case itself can get hot. Now I have an intake from the top, an intake from the bottom, and the exhaust out the back. That's an intake from the top, intake from the bottom, and the exhaust going out that back Noctua. And my only gripe is that Noctua, it just doesn't really fit, even though it's brown and there's brown on this side. But I do want to say that CPU cooler is legit, and I'm actually really loving this case. I think it's gonna look nice in my front room. It's very legit. Now this case, like I said, it's compact, it's small, it's petite, it runs cool, it runs hot, just like I like my woman. So I'm gonna enjoy this PC. It's the end of the video, and I just wanted to show you how it's gonna look in my front room. Now I couldn't fit on an entertainment center, so I had to put it right next to it on a fireplace. But it still looks good right there, so I'm not complaining. Also, I tried to play Call of Duty in the front room and I could not play that game on a big screen. I don't know if there was lag or maybe the screen was just too big, my eyesight, something. I just don't know how people do it. And just to think, like, people play on big screens and those are the people I'm dying to. But yeah, just to be honest with y'all, I don't necessarily see why anybody really needs a PC for their front room when any console would just do. You can pretty much play all the same games on a console, so really it's just there for a flex. And I was thinking like maybe it could be like a travel PC, and then I thought in my mind like they make laptops with gaming gear in there, so I just really don't see the necessity of this small PC. But hey, I got it, it's a flex, and you know what I'm saying, I'm just gonna keep getting bulk, so it is what it is. And yep, that's gonna be it with this video. Until next time, it's your boy Chef Boy. Are you a dad? And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.